I can. Okay. Can you hear me in there? Hello out there. I can hear someone. Looks like we have 13 people waiting to watch. Welcome, everybody. We'll get started very soon. Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our kindergarten orientation for 2021, and we'll be starting next school year. I know that this is not the way that we really want to meet each other, but for safety, for you and for our children, this is the best option we have right now. So welcome to our orientation. I'd like to invite you to put any comments that you have in the chat. Miss Jackie is here, and she's going to help me monitor those comments. And hopefully I answer most of your questions throughout our presentation tonight. But if not, I will try to get to your questions and answer them before we leave. So let's get started. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the class of 2033 and 2034. I know that's a little shocking, those numbers are, but if you are a student entering Young Fives, you are from the class of 2034, and if you are entering kindergarten, you're going to be in the class of 2033. So we'd like to welcome you to our home, to Grizzlies, to Gudith, home of the Grizzlies, and we do consider it as a family here. That's why we say home. It is, we are a family, and we're at home when we're at school. So, Gudith Elementary, I'm Mr. Martin. I'm the principal. This will be my 11th or 12th year as principal at Gudith School. Miss Jackie is here with us, Miss Studnicka. She's our building secretary, and she is here with me helping monitor your questions through the chat. So, once again, if you have something, put it in there and she will get it to me. Also, to round out our office staff is Mrs. Godlewski, and she is our student advocate, and she works a couple hours in the middle of the day helping students with a wide variety of from medications and just student needs, attendance and other things. So we are here to help you and to answer questions whenever you need them. So always, please, reach out to us at any time you need anything. Our school hours next year are going to change just a little bit. We will start school at 9:10, and we will continue to dismiss at 3:55. Our half-day schedule is 9:10 until 12:10. So here's the office staff, as I just said, Miss Jackie and Miss Kristen. Miss Jackie is there all day, and Miss Kristen is there just for a little bit through the middle of the day. We are wanting to hear from you whenever there is a concern or a problem, and we'll be there to get you the answers and help you out with whatever's happening. It seems that we're having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to pause just for a moment. All right, I think we're okay. I've been given the go-ahead. So at our school, we have a pledge that we use every single day, multiple times usually. I will ask the students, and I will ask them, Grizzlies are, and they will say back to me, safe, responsible, respectful, and kind as we learn and grow. These are the foundation of what we teach our students at Gudith. To be safe, be responsible, respectful, and more than anything else, kind to yourself, to your things, and to each other. We need to, those are lessons that we carry on through every year, and we expand upon them as the students move through the grade levels at Gudith. Our vision that we keep in the forefront of our minds is to awaken our possibilities today will lead to a successful tomorrow. We want to be sure that students know that they have possibilities in their learning, possibilities with their friendships, possibilities in their anything that they would like to do. And we awaken those, give them sparks of information now, so it leads to a successful tomorrow. Four very important people here. These are our kindergarten/young fives teachers. Now, there's we're not quite so sure who's going to be teaching what role next year. That's Mrs. Macklick, Mrs. Outland, Mrs. Van Walligan, and Mrs. Weitzel. But a combination of these 4 staff members will be teaching young fives in kindergarten. You will notice that a picture is missing. Several people know of Mrs. Kovac, a very well-loved teacher at our school. She has decided it is time for her to retire, so we wish her well, and so she won't be back with us next year. But these 4 will be there to love your children and welcome them in and help them grow in a safe and loving environment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about health and safety. As we are in this time of the COVID-19, I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit first about what our health and safety procedures at our school are, what our disease transmission prevention procedures are. So I've listed them here for you on the screen. So I want to remember that sometimes it's important that you keep your child home. It's many times in kindergarten, young fives, it's the first time students are going to be around a large number of other students, and you know what they do? They do tend to spread disease and coughs and sniffles to each other. So we need to be very cautious about these disease transmission prevention procedures. So if your child is not feeling well, if they're like overly tired or listless throughout the summer, that might be a reason to keep them home for a day or a portion of the day. If their temperature is over 100 degrees, that is kind of a for sure reason they should stay home, because that temperature is telling you that there is something that they're fighting. In order to return to school, we ask that they be fever-free for 24 hours without medication. So you can't give them something and the fever comes down and send them back to school. They should be fever-free for 24 hours without the use of medication. If your child has a continuous or productive cough, that would be a reason to stay at home, especially if it was, green or yellow mucus, either coughing or runny nose in that kind of area. If their eyes are red with drainage, if they've woken up and their eyes are all kind of crusty shut, that's a reason to stay home. Vomiting, diarrhea, and if there's any type of rash or anything. So these are the main things that we would say keep your child home, so we could stop the transmission of different diseases and illnesses. Along with that, cleaning and health and safety is a top priority. Our classrooms are cleaned every day. They are disinfected with an electrostatic sprayer. Touch points will be cleaned multiple times a day. Tile floors will be washed daily, vacuuming daily. Garbage cans will be taken out. We have started and will continue a very strong hand washing campaign throughout the school. And we are adding new sanitation stations around the school so we can be sure that we are staying clean and safe. Throughout this time of COVID-19, we will be continuing to research and use the best practice in our cleaning and for keeping our students safe and our teachers safe. So right now, that's the information that we have on those two areas. And it is a very top priority because we know that the little ones do tend to get a little bit, they get sick a little bit more often than some of the older kids. Ready for kindergarten. Kindergarten is not what it used to be. It's definitely not what I would remember kindergarten to be. In the past, kindergarten was much more focused on being socially ready for school, social development, and with some academics involved. And it has really, really changed. Now the focus really is on the development of academic skills in a kindergarten classroom. It's the development of reading, writing, and math skills. So it's important to know that we expect when students to come, they already have some base level academic knowledge, and they are ready to be a student, which is different than it was before. Starting kindergarten is a very big step for many, many students. Your students are going to feel a wide variety of emotions. They're going to feel happy and sad, excited and worried. and curious about new friends and new experiences. So all of these things are normal. We expect a wide variety of emotions, especially through the first weeks of school. But we also understand that the children will have a wide variety of emotions, but you as parents will also. And so we are ready to help you with this big change that you're going to be facing, sending your student off to school. I've included these. I'm not going to read through every single one of these literacy milestones. I wanted to give you like a benchmark of where kids should be at certain ages when it comes to reading / letters and sounds and words and vocabulary. It's important to know because it's a little shocking when you see age ranges and some of the things that students should be able to do. So I'd like you to, this presentation will be here, and you can go back and look specifically on your child, but ages, I'm going to go to the next slide so we can talk a little bit about age 5 and 6 is where we're at. When we're thinking about kindergartners, they should be 5 to start school, and 5 turning 6, or they might already be 6 if they went to a Young Fives program. And if you look at the developmental milestones for that child at the age of 6, read and tell stories. That would be on their own. Develop some reading strategies. Read and write on their own. Read a few things aloud. Decode unfamiliar words. Increase sight word knowledge. And use some punctuation. That's exactly what we do in kindergarten. Those are things that we teach, so they need to have these other milestones in place before they go to kindergarten, so we are able to get them to do those different things so they are ready to move on to the challenges of first grade. That is a big order. That's a lot of work. I don't want to scare anybody because we will meet the children where they're at when they come to school. And if that means we need to go backwards for some students, we will. And if that means we need to go a little bit forward for some students, we will. But it's important to know what the expectations are as we get started. So let's talk about what an entering kindergartner should be able to do. They should know and say their first and last name very clearly and loudly. And so if we ask them, we will have, Gudith School has about 480 to 500 students in them. So it's important that they are be able to answer that question. Students should be able to dress themselves. They should be able to snap up their pants and button up and zip up and all those types of things, their coats and pants. And tying shoes is one that we usually work on throughout the year. But if you think about a teacher, it's not really possible to tie 20-some shoes all the time. So it's something we really need to continue practicing at home as well. Entering kindergartners should be able to use the bathroom properly without help on their own and wash their hands all on their own. Okay? This is a big one. They should be able to separate from parents without crying. We know we're going to have some students that are a little upset, and we know we're going to have some parents that are a little upset on those first few days of school. We're ready for that. But for the most part, we would like them to be able to know that they're coming to a safe place that they're going to be taken care of. Students should be able to be told no. There are some things when we have a large group of students and a large group of young students especially, that sometimes we have to say no to some of the things that they want to do at the time they want to do them. So that's an important one as well. Students should be able to recognize their own printed name right now. They should speak loud enough to be heard, speak in 4 to 5 word sentences. They should use crayons, glues, scissors, and all the other types of school supplies correctly. They should be able to sit and listen while others are talking, and share, take turns, and follow the rules. A few more things. We would hope as they enter kindergarten, they should be able to recognize most letters of the alphabet, both upper and lowercase, in random order. It is great that our students might know the ABC song, the alphabet song, but that's knowing the song. So we have to take that song and apply it to the letters out of order to be sure they can recognize them when they're given the letter T randomly. So we want to start working on those things over the summer. Same thing with numbers through 1 through 10. A couple of things you could practice over the summer is holding a pencil correctly, writing their name, counting to 20, basic colors, and basic shapes. Kindergarten age, okay? In the school year 15-16, our state changed the age for kindergarten. So that's a few years back now. It used to be December 1st, and they changed it to September 1st now. And so, but they did allow a waiver. So if your birthday is September 2nd through December 1st, we can't allow your child to start school, but you do have to sign a waiver, and that can be done at registration at the Board of Education office. The state changed this to the September 1st date for very specific reasons, and a lot of them I've already presented to you, because the expectations for kindergarten is much, much higher than it used to be. And a student that is not going to be 5 until the end of November is developmentally a little bit behind of where the expectations show that they should be. So it's important that we really consider this date and waiver process. One of the things our district did about 6 or 7 years ago was put in a program called Young Fives. Young Fives is a full-day program. It is free, and it is for our residents, and it's designed for students to have birthdays between June 1st and December 1st. So you could be 5, but maybe you feel like your child's just not quite ready for the full demands of kindergarten, and they like to go to a different program, maybe to learn a little bit more how to be a student, to how to do some of those getting ready for kindergarten expectations that I went through a little bit earlier. So Young Fives is a developmental kindergarten curriculum geared toward the younger students who need a little bit of extra time to learn and grow in a safe and nurturing environment. It is a little bit slower. It is a little bit more social-based than academic-based. The expectation would be is if you went to Young Fives this coming school year, you would go into kindergarten the following school year. So you would really have that extra time to build those foundational skills. Little bit difference between Young Fives and kindergarten. They're both full days. You can see that kindergarten is for people that have birthdays before September 1st, but there is that time for Young Fives. You can go in both, either program, for late summer birthdays and fall birthdays. Kindergarten is really going to focus on your reading readiness skills, your writing readiness skills, your numeracy skills. And Young Fives is going to focus at a much slower pace, more on letter recognition and number recognition. Young Fives, though, there is only one section in each building, so it is on a first-come, first-served basis. So if you're considering Young Fives, it's important that you register for that program as soon as possible. Academically, there is some differences. You'll see in Young Fives, basically, they're going to be working on words. Kindergarten, we work on sentences. In Young Fives, we're going to talk about book features. In kindergarten, we're going to be reading books. In Young Fives, we'll be doing counting and number identification. In kindergarten, we'll start doing adding and subtracting. So you can see it's just the one step up with these basic skills. So it's important to know that a lot of things for kindergarten, these basic understanding of letters, sounds, and numbers need to be in place so we can apply those to the next steps in their learning. The schedule is very similar in a Young Fives and a kindergarten classroom. They will both have like morning messages. They will both have calendar time. They will both have reading, writing, math. All of those times are the same. They will all go to the same specials classes, not together, but with their class, but they all go to art, music, gym, and computers. But there's a lot more free choice center-based learning through exploring in Young's 5 classroom than there is in kindergarten. Kindergarten, there's a lot more direct instruction time that, that students need to be able to sit and do. So it's important when you're considering young fives in kindergarten. I will tell you a little bit my own story. My son, who is in ninth grade this year, his birthday is on November 20th, and we had to make that decision. And back when he started, their young fives programs were not very popular. There weren't very many around, and I wish they were, because although he does a good job academically, he's a very strong student. I look at him now in high school and his size compared to all of those other students, and I wish that he would have had that one more year. I've never had a parent come back to me and say, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done young fives. It was a waste. I've never had that happen. I have had parents come back to me and said, oh, I wish I would have done young fives. I wish I would have given them that gift of time. And that's what it is, that gift of time to mature and to grow and to develop strong base skills that can be applied as they move on through their academic career. This is all very important. This is an important decision, and to know these things, because our state is governed by a read by grade 3 law, which means through all of your kindergarten, first, second, and the beginning of third grade, we're preparing you for a state assessment. And that state assessment is going to tell us whether you are able to go on to fourth grade or not. This is something that is out of our hands as a district. This is something that the state, it's the M-STEP test, and then the state makes the cut and will send us a list of names of the students that didn't meet the criteria. So we do not want that to happen to our students. We want to make sure that they have enough time before they get to this test to grow and develop strong skills that can be applied on that test. There are 5 main components of this third grade law, that we have to have good, strong, research-based core instruction, that we have to have an assessment system, IRIPs, professional development for our teachers, and there also is good cause exemptions for families. If you were to be recommended by the state for retention, there are certain good cause exemptions that you could apply for. An IRIP, anyone that we have identified, even starting in young fives, anyone we identify with a reading deficiency, we were going to create a document called an IRIP, an Individual Reading Intervention Plan. And it's going to say what we're going to do to help them shore up their skills and get them to where they need to be, so they won't have to deal with that third grade law when it comes to third grade. So that's something that you can look at. This is difficult for us, because we have to tell you within the first 30 to 40 days of school that your child may be behind in reading. And it's difficult for us because you're sending us the best that you have, and they're wonderful kids, and they're trying so hard. And we, and we feel very odd by telling you that, that we're giving you this IRIP. But know that it's in their best interest that we have we recognize it, and we can work specifically on a plan for your child, with you as part of that team. Things to consider when choosing young fives over kindergarten. Okay, here are some major questions. Does my child's birthday fall in the June 1st to December 1st range? Can my child complete the majority of the entering kindergarten expectations? Is my child socially, physically, and behaviorally ready for kindergarten? Would a year of young fives give my child physical, social, or academic advantages that will help prepare them for the rigorous standards set by the Common Core state standards? So if those of you that are wondering, these are the 4 questions we really want you to do your pros and cons around when you're trying to make your decision about young fives. Once again, I've never had anybody come back and say it was the wrong choice to go to young fives. Most of the time people come back and say, I wish I would have. So if you fall in that range, please consider it. If you'd like to talk about it some more, you can always reach out to me, and we can talk over the phone. So what will kindergarten young fives, what will it look like as you come to school? You will be meeting new friends. Okay, there'll be somewhere between 20 to 25 students in the classroom, in the kindergarten classrooms, somewhere probably between 15 to 20 in the young fives classrooms. So we're going to be meeting new friends, some that look like you and some that don't, some that that believe the same things and some that don't. So it's really about learning diversity and acceptance. There'll be structure and routine. There'll be new settings and activities. And again, it'll be very learning focused in our kindergarten classrooms. And hopefully, we have to make sure that we're having fun. I've talked a lot about a very, high level of learning, but please know that we're going to make it fun. And as you can see in the pictures, we ducks and chickens and really get students hands-on to do some of these, to do a lot of our learning to make it fun for them and memorable. In kindergarten, we're going to go outside and we're going to explore our world. We're going to do hands-on activities. We are going to do everything we can to connect the learning directly to the world around them. There will be circle time activities. There will be time to sit and as a group, and there'll be time to work individually. Learning through play, like we said, there'll be a lot of center type activities. There will be like a kitchen center and a math center and a reading center, and those will be filled with game type activities, imaginative play, some fine motor skill activities, so we can really start building skills and getting the brains thinking and applying some of the work we do in the classroom. They can go apply it during play. A lot of hands-on activities. As you can see here, we're building graphs. This was around Valentine's Day. You can see we're building graphs with candy hearts, learning how to, it's part of our math lessons. Our students will also go to 4 specials classes every week. Doesn't matter if you're in kindergarten or young fives. You will be going to physical education class with Mr. Bono. You'll have a computer media class with Mrs. Sadberry. You will go to art class with Ms. Smith and music class with Mrs. Wykowski. Some of the classes you go to twice a week. Some of the classes you go to once a week. But it's a highlight of their day to go to specials and really have fun in those areas. How can you help your child prepare to kindergarten? First, again, speak positively about school. Build that expectation of how wonderful it's going to be. Build their confidence, making sure that they know that things that they do well, and we give them a lot of praise and build confidence. Get them used to setting a daily routine and following a routine and following some rules and expectations. Show your child that learning is fun. Okay, do some fun things as you're going through the grocery store together. They can help by looking for all the letter A's they can find on a package and counting them up. Have your work with your child on proper hygiene, especially right now with this. Make sure that you're talking and working with your child on washing their hands and the proper protocol for coughing into their elbow or sneezing into their elbow. The other thing we'd like you to do is read with your child every day. And if they have them read to you, a picture book possibly, or you read to them. Having children, having books in their hands is very important as they prepare for school. And listening to good reading is also very important as well. Later in August, we will be having some screening dates that we will send out to you as a group. And we will ask you to bring your student into school for a screening. It'll be a one-on-one test with one of our kindergarten or young fives teachers, and we'll go through some expectations. These screenings will help us develop class lists, and they will help us to really kind of gauge where the students are as we enter the school year. We don't have those days quite yet because we don't exactly know what the start of our school year is going to look like, and I will talk about that in just a few moments. Also new to us this year is a state assessment. It's called the Kindergarten Readiness Assessment. This is a state requirement, and it will be done within the first 30 days of school. And it's going to test our students in 4 different domains: language and literacy, mathematics, physical well-being, and motor development. And this will help us give us another chance to really see where they are developmentally and where we can help them what areas, which one of those domains they really need some support in to help them grow as a kindergartner or young fiver. So in the different domains, mathematics will be things about counting, operations and algebraic thinking, and measurement and data and geometry. So as again, I told you, kindergarten is no joke. We're working hard. In language and literacy, there'll be areas of reading, writing, language, speaking, and listening. Social foundations. How is their social emotional development? What is their approaches to learning and their executive functioning, the way that they process and think through different information and situations. Physical and well-being, their physical education, and their health concerns. So the test is designed to gather information in those 4 areas. This will be our first time using the KRA, so we will be learning a little bit more about it with you, as it'll be the first group of students that we use this assessment with. Getting ready for the first day of school. Please go over safety rules with your students. Common safety rules, keeping your hands to yourself, walking on the sidewalks and walking in the hallways, those types of things. The second one is a really important one. Put your child's name on everything in permanent marker. So their lunchbox, their coat, their sweater, put their name on everything. As you can imagine, again, we are going to have about 100 young 5/kindergartners in the building, and they're going to be about 25 of the same Avenger lunchboxes. So please put your name on everything. As you get ready for the first day of school, please make a routine for yourselves. Set a bedtime. Remember that students in the ages from 4 to 7 should be sleeping for 10 to 12 hours a day. So it's important that we really set a strong bedtime. When students come to school tired, it's very hard for them to engage in all of the things that we're doing. Be positive. Encourage your students to ask questions and share their feelings with you. If they share them with you and there's something our teachers need to know, please reach out to your teacher through a note or an email and share that information so they can look out for those things with you. And make sure your child eats a healthy breakfast every day, either at home or at school. That's a very important thing to set off their day in the proper way. We do provide transportation in our district. It is provided by Trinity Transportation. Our bus routes will be posted mid-August, and you will get a postcard sent to your home with your bus route and time. Okay? A little bit about our buses. Buses are disinfected in between each route, so that means they're disinfected several times a day. Okay? And again, on our buses, student safety is the top priority. We have very, very strong safety rules on the bus about staying seated, keeping hands and feet and objects to yourself, keeping your hands inside the bus, all of those types of things, because we know that transportation can be a little bit scary, and we want to make sure that these safety rules are a top priority. Our food service is provided by Sodexo. We will have a breakfast and lunch will be served daily at school. This school year, we had 6 choices for our students to choose from at lunchtime. And that's a lot for kindergartners. So it's important for you as a family to look over that lunch menu before you come to school so your child has a preview of and knowing the things that they like and they don't like. We do have a free and reduced lunch program. Those applications will be sent home to you on the very first day of school. And you fill that out, you turn it back, and Miss Jackie does her best to get all of those entered into our system within the first 2 days. So everyone that qualifies will be able to partake in that resource. So if you have students with that are currently in school, they can be added to a. You still have to add your new student to their application. Free and reduced lunch applications also can be done online as well by visiting our district website at wbsd.co. It's important that we stay connected and get involved in our school. Parents, this is really for you and making Gudith School as much as you want it to be for yourself and your students. We have a very active PTO. We meet the second Thursday of each month at 6 o'clock in the media center of our school. This here is our board and a number of variety of activities that our PTO sponsors throughout the school year. If there's something on the list that's missing, that's something that you think, oh, I'd like to do that, we need your input. We need your help. We are very fortunate to have this very dedicated group of parents working as our PTO board, but most of them do have jobs that take them, outside of the home as well. So the more hands that we have, the lighter the work. And if there's something here that you'd like to see us think about as a PTO, please bring it to the meetings. Very open to new suggestions, very open to new help, and we'd love to hear your suggestions. We do have our Watchdog program. Watchdogs is dads of great students, and this is an opportunity to get dads or father-like figures into our building and working with our students. So this date is an important date. Thursday, September 24th, we'll have a dads and kids pizza night kickoff, and you'll get a very specific flyer and invitation for that when we get back to school. Staying connected is very important for our school. There's many different ways. Gudith Elementary's PTO Facebook page. This is a closed group. So once you have a student at our school, you can request to join the group. Please answer the security questions so we know that you are actually a member of our family, and we let you in. And this is where we post a lot of information about school happenings, pictures of field trips. It's a ton of information. I do use Twitter every now and then. I'm going to try to do a little bit more Twitter. But there we're at Gudith Grizzlies. Class Dojo. You will, at the beginning of the school year, get an invitation to join your classroom page in Class Dojo. This is an opportunity for your teachers to stay connected with you at a moment's notice. It's a little bit, it comes across very much like text messages to you about happenings in the classroom. But it is much more than that. But that's one of the primary ways that our teachers can stay connected with you in their classroom. And also, we send out email blasts several times a week. So it is very important that you keep your email current in MyStar. And you can do that by calling the office and changing that with us there. The other one is the Nexcel program. This is an emergency notification program, and you can sign up by texting WBSD to 888-777. And that will give you information on school closings and other district happenings. So those are the ways to stay informed, and it's very important to sign up for all of these all of these different areas. Before we close down, I'd like to talk a little bit about next year. As of right now, we are doing the best we can to navigate through the executive orders that the governor has given us, the recommendations for this from the CDC. So unfortunately, we can't tell you right now what next year is going to look like, because the governor hasn't told us what next year is going to look like yet. But please know that we are trying to prepare for several different scenarios of what our day would look like, what our weeks would look like. But we are just hoping and praying that we can get our students back into the school and have a true school setting for our students. As soon as we know about what our year will look like, you will be getting notifications from myself and the superintendent of schools to let you know of what our week will look like. I don't know if that's going to be sooner or later, hopefully sooner than later, but we just have to have patience and know that what we're doing with our social distancing, possibly keeping the schools closed a little bit longer, is what's going to be best for the safety of our schools, our students, and our teachers. So I know that's the big question that everybody was waiting to hear from me for right now, and unfortunately I wish I had more to tell you. But right now it's an unknown. We continue to always follow the best practices in staying healthy and clean and distant, and following the executive orders of our governor. That's what will dictate when we can go back to school. So as soon as we know, we will let you know, and thank you for your patience. See, we have a couple of questions. Miss Jackie, we have some questions. Do we allow teacher requests? We allow teacher requests one time in your 6 years or 7 years at Gudith School. Unfortunately, this year's teacher request window is closed because the class lists are just about done for our first grade through fifth grade. If you have a particular teacher request and you really, please reach out to me. Send me an email. We can have a conversation and talk about those things. One of the other things that we need to know is, like, I have had people request Mrs. Kovac, not knowing that she was retiring. So I want to assure you that all of our kindergarten teachers and Young Fives teachers are amazing people. They're all going to love your students, and they're all going to really help them thrive and meet the challenges of kindergarten and Young Fives. How do parents submit medical documents since we can't see the doctor right now? As soon as you have a medical document, you can have your doctor's office fax it to our school. You can bring us a copy on the first day of school. And if we can't have the actual documents, you need to reach out to me, and we can get the school nurse involved in that conversation as soon as we can, even before we have the actual real documents. The information is the key, and if we have to wait for some official documents, we will. But please reach out to me at my email, and I can give you a call back. I'll share my email with you at the end. How does the first come, first served basis for Young Fives work with registration? I will tell you right now, we currently have plenty of seats in our Young Fives program. As I looked at enrollment today, it looked like we had 9 seats taken. So, but I wouldn't wait too long. If you really enrolled for kindergarten and would like to consider Young Fives, I would call central office right away tomorrow morning, talk to them a little bit about your choice and see how they can help you, because all registration and those types of things is done at our central office. Okay. If you'd like to talk through it more, please reach out to me, and we could have a private conversation about what's best. When can we start turning in paperwork for Young Fives? Once again, most of you have probably done the pre-registration format, the online portion of the registration. Most of you have not turned in your paperwork yet. Once restrictions are listed, the registration office is going to reach out to you for appointments to bring in all of your documents. So please have them gathered and ready, and then they'll be reaching out to you through a phone call or an email to register to schedule an appointment to come in and finish the registration process. All of the registration documents will go to central office when they reach out to you. Do I need a waiver if Young Fives' birthday is August 27th? Yes, you need a waiver if the birthday is before September 1st. Okay, so if your birthday is before, I'm sorry, said that wrong. You need a waiver if your birthday is after September 1st. If that's when you need the waiver. Whether you're going to go into kindergarten or Young Fives, the waiver is for after September 1st birthday. If your birthday is before September 1st, you do not need the waiver, and you can still register for either program. How many teachers' assistants are working with children when outside? Well, many times, most of the time, our teachers go out with multiple classrooms, so there's multiple adults out there. When a teacher takes their classroom outside, it's the teacher with their student. When they go outside at lunchtime, there are 3 adults that go outside with lunchtime. We do have other adults that come in and assist with academic things in the classroom. But when they go outside, the teachers are monitoring their area on a very specific part of the playground. Can students go to Young Fives if their birthday is before June 1st with a waiver? What I presented to you was our general rule. June 1st is our general rule. But yes, it has happened. A student that has a birthday before June 1st, we've allowed to go into Young Fives. But that would, please reach out to me. We would have a very specific conversation about your circumstances so we could make the right decision for you and your child. What are the class sizes? Our kindergarten classrooms, our Board of Education is very committed to keep our kindergarten classes relatively low, and that means 25 or under. This year, our kindergarten numbers were at 25. Young Fives, they won't go over 20. So class size maximums are right around 20 and 25. Those numbers are, we've been fortunate that our Board of Education recognizes that the lower numbers at those grade levels are very important. I say relatively low because you will hear stories of even neighboring districts that have up around 30 kids in a kindergarten class. So we're very pleased that we can try to keep that number a little bit lower. Okay. Any more questions, Miss Jackie? Okay. So hopefully our presentation was helpful to you today with some good information to help you make some right decisions for your family. So for good information to help you know what to do in the next couple of months as we lead into the start of school. I thank you for your patience and understanding that I don't have all the answers right now for the start of school, but as soon as we do, we'll get them to you. So thank you for coming. Welcome to Gudith. We are very excited to explore our possibilities together with you, and welcome to our family. Once a Grizzly, always a Grizzly.